CBS Fox Video presents a collector's preview.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away,
I want to learn the ways of the Force and become a Jedi like my father.
For over 1,000 generations, the Jedi Knights were the guardians of peace before the Dark Times, before the Empire.
an adventure unlike anything on your planet. An epic of heroes.
You're coming in too fast! Don't worry. She'll hold together. Jimmy, baby, hold together. I got him!
And villains.
Now I am the master.
You can't win, Darth. If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
The story of a boy, a girl, and a galaxy.
The Force will be with you, always.
Star Wars, the saga begins. The adventure continues in The Empire Strikes Back.
Vader wants us all dead.
He doesn't want you at all. He's after somebody called Skywalker.
Luke.
A saga of rebellion.
Echo Station 5-7. We're on our way.
And romance.
I hope you know what you're doing.
An epic of alien worlds.
The cave is collapsing.
This is no cave.
What?
And the climactic clash between good and evil.
There's no escape. Don't make me destroy you.
The Empire Strikes Back. The battle for freedom rages on in Return of the Jedi.
Fighters coming in.
Here we go again.
The shield is down.
The cunning of the enemy.
Soon the rebellion will be crushed and young Skywalker will be one of us.
Get alongside that one.
The courage of a rebel.
I am a Jedi. Not yet. You must confront Vader.
The power of evil.
Is Darth Vader my father?
Return of the Jedi. May the trilogy be with you for the best price ever. Plus, From Star Wars to Jedi is also available at a new low price. This stunning documentary takes you deep into the fascinating world created for the Star Wars trilogy.
Action!
Immerse yourself in the mind of George Lucas.
Special effects are just a tool, a means of telling a story. A special effect without a story is a pretty boring thing.
From storyboard to creature creation, from character development to the puppeteers who gave them life.
Eventually, you actually take a real person and stick them into that character. And that real person brings with him or her an enormous package of reality. I mean, 3PO is just a hunk of plastic. And without Tony Daniels in there, it just isn't anything at all.
Join George Lucas and friends for a delightful look at From Star Wars to Jedi.
Hello in TV land.
Collect the complete Star Wars trilogy one by one in their attractive new packages or in this collectible gift pack. But don't stop there. From Star Wars to Jedi, the fascinating saga behind the saga will make your video library complete. They're unlike anything in our galaxy.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Joe again from Grindhouse Grotto. Hope you all are having an enjoyable weekend. In today's Retro Corner, I am going to be discussing one of my absolute favorite science fiction franchises of all time, and that is none other than Star Wars. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be showcasing my entire Star Wars collection. All my VHS tapes, all my DVDs, all my Blu-rays, and yes, my 4K release. So without further ado, let's jump right into the first box set that I have in front of me. And this is one of the earlier box sets for Star Wars, the original trilogy. And you can tell by the original font. So anytime you see this old school font, that is basically pre-special edition. George Lucas went back to the original films and revisited them around the time when Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, was coming out. And he did some little fine-tuning and reworking of the films. You know, try to bring them up to standard, bring them up to the current quality of movies. And a lot of people have given George Lucas a lot of pushback on the special edition releases. To me, I don't really mind the changes. Some of the changes look really good and some of them are questionable. But I don't think they take away too much from the films. I've never been a George Lucas hater. I enjoy all the films and I enjoy the prequels as well. A lot of people give the prequels hell, but I dig the hell out of them. I love all the Star Wars films. I am a little bit... when it comes to the sequel trilogy, I'm a little bit upset about some of the choices they've done and some of the things they've decided to do with the franchise, but I'll get into that when I discuss those films. So the first box set I have in front of me is the original Star Wars trilogy, and this is a very awesome box set. It's probably my favorite of all the boxes I have. It's because I love the cover art there. I love the original poster art in the bottom. It just looks really cool, and this is brought to you by CBS Fox. So they were the ones that released, that's the company that released this box set. So this just kind of slides open like that. And then you get some more artwork on the outer box. You get Chewbacca, Princess Leia, Jabba the Hutt, Old Yoda, and then Luke and Leia. And this box is really cool because you know, you get all the films in this box, and then it just kind of pops open like that. And so you get even more artwork there. And you get, you know, a little bit more insight of what's going on with this trilogy on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side. Now, the box itself that this is in is pretty beat up, but the individual boxes the movies come in are in really good shape, so I'm happy that these are still in really good shape. This is a really old box set, so to find them in really good condition is really hard. And there's the original Star Wars. Now, like I said before, special edition, Star Wars was Star Wars. It didn't have a subtitle, so it wasn't called A New Hope until they started going back and retweaking the films. And then to make continuity between the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy, this became Episode 4, A New Hope. But back in the day, it was just Star Wars. Really cool. I dig that traditional, you know, look to the poster there. And that is the first one. And then the second one, The Empire Strikes Back. Probably my favorite poster art out of all the Star Wars films is The Empire Strikes Back. It has a very epic feel. I like Darth Vader kind of looming in the background. And you just got a lot going on in this picture. You know, you got Luke, and then you got Yoda, and then you got C-3PO and R2-D2 in the back, and then you got some little fighters in the background. And you got, you know, Han Solo kind of leaning over Princess Leia. And this was the first film where they kind of like fell in love. But yeah, I love that poster art. Really cool stuff. Next up, Return of the Jedi. Which a little tidbit of information that people might not know if you're, you know, kind of new to the franchise or you don't follow it as closely as others. When this film first came out, when they were making this film, George Lucas wanted to make it the Revenge of the Jedi. But he decided to make it the Return of the Jedi because Revenge seemed a little bit too sinister for a Jedi, because a Jedi wouldn't be wanting to get revenge. So that's why he decided to retitle it to Return of the Jedi. So some of the earlier posters for this movie will say Revenge of the Jedi. And then when he went back and made the prequel trilogy, that's why we got Revenge of the Sith. So he kind of reused that title a little bit. Which obviously Revenge of the Sith sounds better for Sith than it does for Jedi. But yeah, really cool poster art there. A lot of people were bugged about the Ewoks in this movie, but it didn't bother me too much. I like the Ewoks. I used to love the Ewoks as a little kid. So when we see the Ewok village, and you get the little baby Ewok and the Ewok elder, and then C-3PO is kind of like the a god to this Ewok tribe. I love that scene. It's just so memorable when I was a little kid. I think Return of the Jedi was the first Star Wars film I saw as a little kid. It introduced me to the world of Star Wars. And from there, I fell in love with the films. All right. So those are all of the movies in this box set, which is my absolute favorite VHS box set that I have for Star Wars. And I'm just going to slide that to the side. All right. The next box that I have is another original trilogy box set, which came out, I think, in 1995. So this other one came out in the late 80s or early 90s, I believe, and then this one came out a little bit later. Very similar, but it's a little bit more simplified. You get an image of Darth Vader in the background. It just says Star Wars Trilogy. They slightly changed the font a little bit. And then you get all the films in there. So you get A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, and then now you get the actual title. So the first change was they gave the subtitle. And then George Lucas went back when he made the prequels and gave the episode numbers. So it's little small changes that have occurred over time that have changed the franchise as they've added new films. And then we saw with the sequel trilogies, Episode 7 and Episode 8, they took away the episoding, and it's just now The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. So they went back to the original of not having the episode numbers, which I actually enjoyed the episode numbers. I felt like it just made it feel like it was more epic. You know what I mean? Like you're watching episode 1 and then you can watch all the way through all the films. It just made it seem more connected. And then without the episode numbers, I get it. It's easier to market. You don't feel like you have to go back and rewatch all the films. And that's what they were trying to do with the sequel trilogy. They wanted this new generation to be able to just jump right into the new films and not feel obligated to go back and watch the entire saga. So that's why they removed the episode numbers. But in the title sprawl in the beginning of the film, you still see Episode 7, Episode 8, which is cool. They still had that in there. But this box set's pretty cool. I enjoy this one. I think I enjoy the actual artwork on this a little better than the other one. So on this one we get Yoda on Return of the Jedi. I'm not going to go too crazy with this box set, but then you get a Stormtrooper on The Empire Strikes Back. And then you get Darth Vader on this one. So like I said, they went real simple with this box set, but I dig the hell out of that. I think it looks really clean, really simplified. Nothing too much, nothing too much going on with it. Nothing that we haven't seen before. But yeah, dig the hell out of this box set. So let me just kind of slide this over here. Alright, next up. Yes, I've got a million box sets for the original trilogy. I just keep getting them. And the first one I have is the widescreen, which is the silver. So there's a difference. There's a widescreen, which I'll show you. There is a widescreen, and then there's a full screen version. So you got gold and silver. I've got them both. They're essentially the same exact box set, except for, one's widescreen and one's full screen. So I will showcase the widescreen one. I'm not going to go ahead and, redo the other one, but it's the same exact box set. So this little thing just pops right off. And then you get all the different movies. Now, these are all the special editions. So this is when George Lucas went back and redid a lot of the scenes, added a little bit of CGI to some of the scenes, kind of cleaned the films up a little bit. And a lot of people were upset about that. To me, it didn't bug me. I felt like it was good to kind of connect the entire 6 films together. He was doing this in preparation of Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. So he was trying to make more continuity between the films, which I respect that. I don't think he went too crazy with them. All right. So you get the first one, Star Wars Special Edition. Really cool artwork there. You get The Empire Strikes Back. And then you get The Return of the Jedi. Really awesome box set. Like I said, the full screen edition is exactly the same as the widescreen. Like I said, just in gold boxes. So I'm going to go ahead and put this down here. And I'll go ahead and put this gold box down here. Alright. So that covers the original trilogy box sets that I have on VHS. Now we're getting into the prequel of VHS tapes that I have, which I don't have very many because they were never able to release a box set for the prequel trilogy because the last film, Revenge of the Sith, never had a VHS release. So you only get the first 2 on VHS, which is fine. You get the first one, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Now, this is a different version than the other one I'm going to show you. This is a special collector's edition. It comes with some, behind-the-scenes stuff that's happened, with the production of this film. So it adds a little bit to the runtime. But I'm the type of person I gotta have everything. So I love Episode 1. A lot of people hate this film. They bash it because they say it's, really childish. You got Jar Jar Binks. People hate Jar Jar Binks. I'll admit, the use of Jar Jar Binks was a little bit heavy-handed at times. It was a little bit silly, but, I was a little kid. I was in middle school when this film came out. I think I was in, 7th or 8th grade when this film came out. So, to me, this was, right around the time when, when these prequel trilogies came out, I just imagined myself being like Anakin and doing all the pod racing and everything. And it was a great film. It bridged the gap between different generations. Okay? So, I wasn't old enough to see the original trilogy in the movie theater, but I was old enough to see these films. So I was the second generation coming in and viewing these Star Wars films. And I just love that Darth Maul in the background. Very menacing looking with his eyes. So you got that. And then you have the other copy that I have, which is just a standard release on VHS. So this is just bare bones, just has the movie, and this has the movie. This one right here has the movie and the special features on there. So that's that. And then next up you have Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Probably my least favorite out of the first 6 films. Hayden Christensen is it's like a love-hate relationship with him. I like certain parts of the movie. I think he did well in some things. But in other parts of the movie, he seems kind of whiny. I liked Revenge of the Sith a little better. I liked his portrayal of Anakin better in that movie. In this one, he says some really cheesy lines, especially when he's talking to Padme. It's a little bit too sappy for me. It's too much of a love story, and I get what they're trying to do. A lot of young middle school and early high school kids love that romantic side of the film. And George Lucas, I'm not the type of person that's going to shit on George Lucas. He's made some good choices in this franchise, and he's made some poor choices in this franchise. And in this film, you can see some of his poor choices come through. The whole love sequence, and they have to explain it, but I think they went a little bit too heavy-handed with the love sequences in this film. We didn't need that much in the film. It's like the entire, middle part of the film is just a love story between Anakin and Padme, which I felt like it would have been better suited if they went with the kind of the same similar thing that we saw with Han Solo and Princess Leia in the original trilogy. That to me was a good mixture of the romance between the two, and then, you know, the movie moved along. It didn't sit there on this subplot of relationship building. It got the point across and it moved on, and that's where this film kind of like, that's why it kind of makes it kind of weak, the weakest entry in the franchise for me. But that's that. All right. Now we're going to move into the DVDs, because like I said, I don't have Revenge of the Sith on VHS. I have it on DVD. And I think this one is the strongest entry in the prequel trilogy. Like I said, I love The Phantom Menace. They're very close, in my opinion, as far as which one I like better. But I think this one has the edge, because I love the fall to the dark side with Anakin, when he turns to the dark side, and we see basically Order 66 is executed, and we see the death of all the Jedi, and it's very saddening when it happens, because you're so, you know, you just love the mythology of the Jedi and the Old Republic, and when it comes to when the Republic falls and the Empire takes over, it's just very sad, and you're so invested in Anakin's character, and you feel kind of like betrayed by him. But you were a fool. If you've seen these movies, you were a fool to not know that what was coming. I mean, if you already know Anakin is Darth Vader. But yeah, you'd be a fool if you didn't know that he was going to turn to the dark side. But that's that. Good amount of special features on there. It's got 2 discs. Oops. Disc 1 and disc 2. Really cool. So that's that. Now, I do own the other films. I own all 6 films on DVD, and I have them in this foil case. I'm not going to pull that out, but it's very similar to, all of them are very similar to this. They've got the old poster art for all the films, and they have, you know, the episode number up in the left-hand corner, but yeah, they're all the same. Next up, I'm going to move into my Blu-rays, and I have the prequel trilogy box set on Blu-ray and DVD. So you get episode 1, episode 2, and episode 3, and then you get Yoda on the cover art there. Pop this open, and you get all first 3 films, episodes 1 through 3 on Blu-ray, and then you get them all on DVD. Really solid release. I wish they would George Lucas would make 2 versions of this. The special edition version, which is what this is, and then maybe another version for people that just want the original versions of the films that have not been edited, not had the new scenes inserted, the new CGI. Because I'm going to tell you what, I will often watch the original trilogy, and even episode 1. Episode 1, he went back and redid some stuff on. But I enjoy watching these original films on VHS just for the simple fact that I love the way they looked. I didn't feel like they needed those changes. Although they don't bother me, but sometimes I just prefer to watch the original films the way they were intended to be watched. And that's been a big complaint from a lot of people, is that they wish that George Lucas would have at least given people the option of the regular release or the special edition release. Because not everybody's a fan of the changes they made. So that's that. And then we have the original trilogy, episodes 4, 5, and 6, A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. There's Darth Vader. So we get Darth Vader again on there. Same thing. All the movies get their own Blu-ray release, and then they also get their own DVD release in there as well. Really cool. Then on the back there. Now, I'm going to say one thing that I do not like about the special edition release of Return of the Jedi. They took out Alec Guinness, at the end of the film, or I'm sorry, not him, the guy who played the original Anakin Skywalker, at the end scene when they are in the Ewok village and they're celebrating the defeat of the Empire. And you see the Force ghost of Anakin Skywalker, Yoda, okay? They took the original actor out and they put Hayden Christensen's actor, you know, they put him in there as Anakin Skywalker. And it makes no sense because we saw, why would Anakin be a younger Force ghost? It makes no sense. It's like one of those things that I feel like he shouldn't have done. And that's pissed a lot of people off. And that was my only complaint with the changes that George Lucas made, is he put Hayden Christensen in there and replaced the original actor, and that pissed a lot of people off, pissed me off. So I didn't like that change. All right, next up. Now we move on to the sequel trilogy. We're starting off with The Force Awakens. This is a Blu-ray, DVD, and digital HD version of the film. So we get the really cool poster art for that. Then we get on the back. Okay. Oop. I'm going to try to show you all this without revealing the code because I still want to redeem the code for this, which I haven't done yet. So this comes with all the different discs. I was kind of worried that it would be open there. You never know when you open these up. I mean, I love you all, but I also enjoy my codes as well. So that is the release of this Star Wars The Force Awakens. Not a bad film. I enjoy this. I think, you know, it was pretty much a remake of the original Star Wars. They had a lot of the same elements. They were basically following the format of what was successful with the original film. And I thought J.J. Abrams did a pretty decent job on this. Yeah, not a bad film. Next up. Now, this is probably my favorite out of all the new Disney Star Wars films. I love Rogue One. This film is incredible, guys. If you haven't seen Rogue One and you're just, sticking to the original films or, the episodes, I would say you need to go out and see the Rogue One. This film is awesome, guys. It has the feel of the original trilogy. If you love the original Star Wars films, then you are going to love Rogue One. It is a kind of semi-prequel. It takes place in the events between Episode 3 and Episode 4. So this is the rebellion leading up to what we see in Episode 4, A New Hope. This is when they are getting the... they are trying to get the plans for the Death Star, okay? So they send in this rebel team to steal the plans to the Death Star, and then it rolls right into the events of Episode 4, A New Hope. So this is everything that's leading up to the Episode 4, A New Hope. But yeah, really good cast. I love all the characters in this movie. It just got that really old school feel to it. I did the hell out of this movie. Same cover art in the back. Same thing. I'm not trying to give you all the code, but you get the idea. Really cool stuff. And then last but not least, Star Wars The Last Jedi on 4K. I actually really love this cover art. Okay, I was very disappointed with this film. But the cover art on this, the poster artwork for The Last Jedi is really cool. I did the hell out of that. This movie had so much potential and then it just flopped. It just was... I don't want to sit here and get into a pissing contest with people that, you know, on one side people love this film and the other side people hate it. I think there's a lot of good things and bad things about this film. And I'm not going to get into all my gripes and complaints about it. But I just felt like it was a... It had a lot of potential that it didn't live up to its potential. There were a lot of disappointing things with this, and they dropped the ball on a lot of things. A lot of the characters that were in this film were very underdeveloped. They didn't really talk too much about some of the characters, and some characters they overdeveloped. They went way too into detail about the background of some of these characters, and you're like, okay, let's move along, come on now. But yeah, maybe another video I will talk about my complaints with this film and what I think of the Disney Star Wars films and what my thoughts in the future are. But for this video, I'm just going to talk about the actual release and my thoughts on it. I think it's a really solid 4K release. I like the artwork on there. I love this scene in Snoke's chamber. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen this. I'm not going to reveal what happens, but yeah, this whole fight scene with Kylo Ren, Rey, and Emperor Snoke, or I'm sorry, Supreme Leader Snoke, and then his like bodyguards. Really cool scene. I dig the hell out of that. That was one of the best scenes in the movie, in my opinion. Wish it would have been a little bit better, but like I said, that's for another video. $4K Ultra HD, Blu-ray, and digital. And then, like I said, you get 3 different discs in here. You get 2 under here, and then 1 over here. But yeah, guys, that is my entire Star Wars collection. So I'm going to briefly show you all really quickly. I'm going to go ahead and kind of scan in over here. As you can see, this is where all my Star Wars stuff goes to. I've got various Star Wars mugs over there. I've got all the first 6 films. I've got them all the different mugs. I've got various glasses from the different movies. I've got a big book back there. It's a children's book, which is kind of like a short overview of the original trilogy. I've got my Darth Vader piggy bank back there. Yeah. So I'm a hardcore Star Wars fan. I love all the films. And then down here, I've got extra copies of the movies, which I'm probably going to do in a giveaway. So I've got a whole other box set down there. That is I believe the full screen version. And that's a complete box set. I've got a couple other, I've got another box set over here, which doesn't have the outer box, but it's still got all the films in there. And I got a couple random films down there. And then I've got my extra James Bond films that I got that I'm going to be giving away as well. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you all. Those are my extra releases. But anyways, guys, hope you all enjoyed this video. That is my entire Star Wars collection. Damn, this camera's all crazy. That is my entire collection on VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K. Hope you all enjoyed this retro review. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel for future content, and I appreciate any and all support. Until next time, guys, take it easy.